The topic of my argument is mass incarceration in the United States. I would like to initiate my argument by planting this question. How effective do you believe our judicial system is? Well, the United States represents only 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. This means that 1 out of 4 Americans are being held behind bars. This is truly ironic because we're known as the land of the free. This means that we have more prisoners than we have soldiers, we have more correctional officers than we have Marines, and we have more prisons than we have Walmart. Today, we have a population of 2.3 million prisoners to be precise, making us the highest rate of incarceration in the world. Not only does this cause collateral damages within our communities, it's destroying families, as well as causing a negative impact on our economy. Not only does this prove that our justice system is inefficient, but it's also demonstrating that our politicians have led us to jump from the frying pan straight into the fire. I'll explain. There have been numerous political moments that have affected the incarceration rate in the US. For instances, President Nixon's war on drugs in the 70s. It was a crucial moment for our country. We were suffering from enormous racial tensions. This moment alone increased our prison population from 357,000 to 513,000 in a span of only 10 years. Nixon's presidential advisor later admitted that this was just a way to combat both black people and anti war people by associating hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin. This caused a negative impact within the U.S. by separating families, creating households where mothers now had to lean on government assistance through programs like WIC, which is a government subsidized program, but it's truly funded through taxpayers' money. This also created traumas and psychological problems in children who have to be raised in a one-parent household. Another eventful law that affected and impacted the population of the prisons was Bill Clinton's California law in the 90s. This law is called Three Strikes and You're Out. This law mandates that any person who commits 3 felonies is to live the rest of their lives in prison, as well as any other mandatory sentences. His crime bill also created a massive expansion in our prison systems, as well as many militarizations in our cities. Years later, he admits that his bill only made problems he intended to fix worse. By 19, by 19, by 1990, the number of prisons was 1,179,200, and by the 2000s, it was 2,015,300. Going back to my initial question, where I asked, how effective is our judicial system? I would say not effective enough, and I've obviously stated the facts because statistics show that 25% of suicides are those prisoners who have been recently released. 56% of state prisoners become mentally ill. A panel data taken in the early 2000s correlated that the increasing incarceration rates also meant increasing crime rates. 67% of ex-prisoners are rearrested and 52% are reincarcerated. Now, when it comes to the economical effect it has on society, let's start with the fact that it costs 24,000 to house a prisoner per year. The cost to provide an inmate with a drug rehabilitation treatment is 30,000 versus a program out of prison costs only 8,000. As a result, it costs taxpayers a whooping 80 billion a year in order to operate in order for these prisons to operate. The cost has the effects it has on children is another con to mass incarceration. 1 out of 27 children in the United States have a parent who is incarcerated. The ripple effect this has on society is just truly terrible. These children can have health and behavioral problems, sometimes fall in the hands of the system, um, maybe even have problems finding a proper caretaker. Now, the effects it has on ex-prisoner itself is heartbreaking. These men and women lose their right to vote, their right to qualify for welfare, and their right to qualify for any subsidized housing. And the hardest part is they lose their right to find any decent type of job. So, how exactly can these men and women start their lives without falling into maybe the same predicaments that put them in prison the first time? They were punished for a crime, they paid the price. So, why is it that society continues to make them pay for this? This is why I've determined that our judicial system is not effective. Thank you for your time.